You too. What's going on? It's your boy Yo Yo. The best that ever did it. We back with this way too early edition of college football. I'm gonna just do a quick rundown. There's really no lines out yet. As y'all can see, the spreads and the totals are not really here yet. It's really early. Week 4 just ended. We killed it. I will leave a card right here in the top of the if you look up right now, I will leave a card and you could go check out my results for week 4. Pretty close on a 16 leg, and we had a 13 leg that was very close. Less than 3 of them, or less than yeah, I think it was less than 3 on both tickets that I had wrong. So pretty crazy results. We did hit a couple small tickets, you know what I'm saying? But I love all winnings, big or small. Keeps you from reloading up and taking a drive up to the casino to reload money out your wallet, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're gonna kick up this way too early week 5 of the NCAA football. Let's get it started with Temple at Tulsa for the Thursday slate. We got Middle Tennessee at Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State at Sam Houston, all on Thursday. And then Friday, we got Louisville at NC State. That's a great game right there for Friday. Great early, early jitters for that one. Friday as well, we got Utah versus Oregon State, man. Ooh, Oregon State. And then we got La Tech versus UTEP. We're going to kick it off with Temple at Tulsa. And I like Tulsa. I actually like NIU in that Tulsa victory last week at week 4. I like Tulsa to get this W against Temple at home. Temple is a good team. I like the over in this matchup as well without even seeing any spread. This is just all straight, blind. Not blind, but we have no spread or no, line to look at. So I'm just going just straight off gut and giving my projections on my picks that I think this team will win by or lose by or the total. Just all off gut, just first instance. I like Tulsa to win this game and going over the total is my projected total because I think this game is at least a 50 point or 51 point game at minimum. I think we get 51 points here easily. It's going to be at least 28 to 21, 28 to 23 on a bad night. You know what I'm saying? On a bad night. Easily get over this total. Tulsa is gonna let people score, and Tulsa is not that explosive. But I think at home against Temple, they could look pretty good. This is a Temple team that's not letting. They're not letting a lot of people respect them because they're not doing any big plays on offense. They're not really generating a lot of offense at all in Temple. But against a Tulsa team, they could put up points as well. That's why I think we get over this total. But I think Tulsa is the better team at home. Lean Tulsa on the money line and over the total. Middle Tennessee, Western Kentucky. And now we roll with Colorado State against Middle Tennessee. But I did have a couple backup tickets with Middle Tennessee on there just in case they proved to be the favorite, but they did not prove to be the favorite. We were on the underdog of Colorado State, and they proved to be the better team, but by a narrow margin, of course. Middle Tennessee is pretty standard. You know what I'm saying? A standard echelon team. Western Kentucky is also pretty standard. I like the under in this game. I think a lot of people expecting this to be a high-scoring game. I think we get under this total. It's one of those Thursday games, sluggish, dirty games. It's not going to be all glitz and glam. It's going to be a couple big plays for sure, but I think we get under this total by a narrow snippet. It might open up at 48. It might open up at 52. That's why I'm seeing it opening at 48 to 52. Anywhere around that range. That's what I think this will open at. And I think we get under that total pretty quickly, pretty dominantly, like pretty decisively, because I see a lot of running in this game, and I see a lot of drop passes, good defense. Middle Tennessee's defense is pretty stout, and Western Kentucky could hold their own as well, but not against an upper echelon team. But this is not an upper echelon team. Middle Tennessee, I like the under in this game, and I also like Middle Tennessee to get the victory in this one. Even if they're the underdog, I like Middle Tennessee to get upset or be the. I don't know if they'll be the favorite, but I do like Middle Tennessee to win that one outright. Next up, we got Jacksonville State, Sam Houston. Sam Houston is that bad. I told you guys Houston was going to get their feel-good victory last week, and they did. Easily decisive. I told y'all my top 3 picks for that week was Rice, Houston, and James Madison. And we see what the fuck Rice did, man. Rice shitted on themselves and walked away. Rice is just a different fucking team. I see, man, that game. And this was where I turned the game off at. I was watching that shit all from the start to finish. But, man, a crazy sequence, man. Rice instantly stopped the boys on 4th and, I forgot what it was. They just stopped them boys on the goal line, period, point blank. They stopped them at the goal line after getting a pass interference called on them. That was, they would have got the turnovers on downs, but they got pass interference. So it gave them boys another fucking 4 tries on the goal line to score. They're on the goal line about to score on Rice. And then they fumbled the ball. And then the next play, they running down the field, breakaway touchdown to the house, 90-yard run or 80-yard run. It was crazy. So now they're up 1 point, 20-1 to 20. And then I look away for 6 minutes. And they were down 33 to 21. I turned the game off after that. I couldn't even. I'm like, okay. After that damn Marshall upset as well, I was riding Virginia Tech all week. I was telling everybody, I don't know. If you told me Marshall was going to beat Virginia Tech, I would laugh dead in your face. I'm not even going to lie to you, but I think we're just living in different times now. Marshall beat these boys for the first time since 1940. It's a bad beat. I just don't think I still don't think they're better than them. Honestly, I just still don't think they're better than them. But that's just how bad Virginia Tech is, especially without the home momentum. It's just you cannot back Virginia Tech on the road no more. But that's last week. We're gonna continue to cook up this Jacksonville State game at Sam Houston. Sam Houston is that bad. Jacksonville State, I am a believer of Jacksonville State. I did take Eastern Michigan, and I shouldn't have ran with the crowd. I ran with the crowd on that one. That was more of a trends bet. Eastern Michigan was very profitable as an underdog, and that was just more of a trends bet. But like I said, I don't follow trends, and that was my only time really following a trend and just trying out to see if the trend would come into tuition, but it did not. They 21-0, them boys. EMU did not score at all. That's great defense. What I like to see, a shutout game from Jacksonville State. Their defense is improving. I like Jacksonville State to win this game by double digits. I don't see Sam Houston generating any much offense. I think Sam Houston maybe gets 6 here, maybe gets 14 if they're lucky. Sam Houston will get 14 if they're lucky. But I like Jacksonville State to dominate these boys from start to finish. Double-digit win for Jacksonville State. And I like the under. Next up, we got Louisville at North Carolina State. North Carolina State is a pretty formidable opponent, especially at home. Louisville is a different breed, though, man. Them boys can light the scoreboard up, as we see they did last week. Man. Louisville. I don't know what Louisville is going to be favored here by, but I know Louisville is the favorite here for sure. I think they might be a 8.8, maybe 6.5 to 8.5 point favorites. I like Louisville on the money line here. They're pretty much better in all facets of the game than North Carolina State. I think we do get it over the total as well. Both teams coming into it on Friday instead of Saturday again. So, a little bit of a shorter week. And I think we see no defense here. A lot of points getting scored. Louisville on the win. Money line in the over. Now we got number 10 Utah at number 15 Oregon State. Man, if Cameron Rising is not in this game, I'm going with Oregon State all day. Oregon State did prove to be inferior, as we said. I like Washington State all week long. You could look at all my past videos. You could look at my short that I posted as my results, and I had Washington State on all my tickets. But I also had Oregon State on a couple backups tickets. I know how good Oregon State is too. Oregon State is a dominant beast at home. That's what they do. They thrive at home. Utah is not nothing special. UCLA played a very bad game on offense, and they still lost by only 7 and only allowed 14 points. Utah is not really scoring the ball as much as I would like them to see, them. I'm sorry, but Oregon State is a way different animal at home. Oregon State is pretty finicky on the road, but at home these Beavers eat, man. These Beavers, they do some little chipping, man. I think Oregon State wins this by a field goal. I'm gonna lay the points with Oregon State. 3 points with Oregon State for sure. Next up, we got Louisiana Tech at UTEP. I think we see Louisiana Tech have a field goal win here. I think UTEP is the team to beat up on. UTEP is pretty much a doormat. La Tech in a field goal win. I'll lay the 7 with La Tech. I'll lay 7 with them. BYU at Cincinnati. I hope BYU is the favorite. Because I think they're going to favor BYU. And I'm going right against them. I like Cincinnati in a bounce-back win here. Cincinnati's on a 2-game losing streak coming into this one. They lost to Miami and Ohio in a close nail-biter, last-second loss. And then they faced Oklahoma. And it was a 20-6 win for Oklahoma. That's a pretty good showing in defense for Cincinnati. But not a good offensive showing. I like Cincinnati to get a feel-good victory in an upset of the week type of game. They come out scoring, and BYU struggles to score. We know how dormant of an offense BYU is. They put up 14 points in the first game. BYU is not as good as everybody thinks, including me. I was riding BYU last week, and I thought they had a chance, man. After they upset Arkansas, I thought they had a chance to win that outright again, and they fared not. I think we see a higher scoring game. In this one, a 54, 55 point game minimum. I like the over in this game, and I like Cincinnati to eke out an upset. Utah State coming in against UConn. Now, these are 2 teams I'm fading. Both of these teams. So whoever's the underdog here, which I would imagine it to be UConn, I might take the points. But damn, I'm not backing UConn. As much as I hate to say it, I just have to side with Utah State. And I hate to back Utah State after week 2 where they shitted on themselves. Utah State is not, or maybe even week 3 it was, when Utah State shitted on themselves, man. Let me down so bad against a bad team. And then we coming into this one thinking they're going to just handle UConn all of a sudden. I don't think it's going to be that easy. You know what I'm saying? UConn is the better program still, even though UConn is fucking ass as well. Terrible, terrible, terrible. If you would have told me that UConn is worse than Northwestern, I would have laughed in your face. But that's true this year. UConn is worse than Northwestern. That's the tail of the tape, man. So I'm gonna side with Utah State in a stay away game. This is a stay away game. I wouldn't even sniff this game. Don't even look at that. Let's go to USC, who had a fucking scare against Arizona State, and I think that's what's kind of tailoring this 17. We seen against TCU they were a 21-point underdog. Against them Oregon Ducks, man, they lit them boys up like a Christmas tree. I had to side with Colorado though. I'm still gonna side with Colorado. Probably I'm gonna buy the points up maybe on a teaser, but man, USC is a fucking animal, man. USC is a wild animal that can't be tamed. They can't be tamed. I like the over in this game. I think Colorado wakes up after a slouchy week, after a slap in the face, after a good old ass whooping. I think they get a fire lit under their ass. They come out better defense, and they don't improve that much, but they do mentally. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, they've lost now. They know what it feels to be defeated. And in a dominant fashion, ugly victory too. They don't like losing like that. They have more pride. You know what I'm saying? That pride comes out after a while and it improves the gameplay. USC is a great team. I would lean USC on the money line, but I like Colorado to cover and the over. I like Colorado to pick it up this week and produce an over. But I think USC will win the game. Colorado covers, but gets the over as well. Clemson at Syracuse. Clemson's coming into this one looking like a 9-point favorite. We were on Clemson last week at Florida State, man. I didn't like Clemson at all. Klubnik is not it. I do not like the quarterback play for Clemson, but Syracuse showed me that Army was getting on their ass in the first half, and I don't think Syracuse is really a fully upper echelon team yet. They're like 75% there. You know what I'm saying? They're not a 89-90% upper echelon team. They're like in the high 70s, 79, 81 maybe. You know what I'm saying? But Clemson is still as a 85 minimum talent team, 85%. You know what I'm saying? Clemson is a better team here, and I just think we see a lot of scoring. Klubnik is not that good. Syracuse is not that good either. But the defenses in these two teams, they do allow points, and you see what Duke did to them in the first real game against competition. This is another game against competition, and I think we see Clemson win here, but we see Syracuse put up a little bit of a fight. I think Clemson gets in the 30s easily here, and Syracuse is going to be in the 20s. I like the over and the Clemson win in that one. Next up, we got James Madison in South Alabama. South Alabama laid a fucking egg against Central Michigan. South Alabama laid a fucking egg against Central Michigan. I don't see why it's a 1-point spread. I was looking to ride South Alabama. They were a negative 700 favorite. Easy pick for me. You know what I'm saying? No. Central Michigan pulls off the fucking upset. South Alabama's Man, this is what I was telling people at the start of the season. I did not see what everybody was seeing in South Alabama. But then after that good win they had, I fucking fell into the trap last week, and then I got bit. I'm not looking to back USA on the road anymore. I like James Madison to win this one by double digits. I don't see why it's a 1 point spread. I don't. James Madison is way, way, way more trustworthy, way better offense, way better coached team. USA could fall off a cliff 1 week, and then they could go beat Michigan the next week, and then also go after beating Michigan, they could go lose to Northwestern the following week. That's how unpredictable South Alabama is. Don't trust South Alabama. I like James Madison in this one for sure on the money line. Next up, we got UAB Tulane. Tulane, until that quarterback is fully healthy, fully back into the groove of things, I'm taking UAB here plus any points. UAB stuck it out with Georgia. I knew they were going to cover 40 points. I knew Georgia was not a covering machine this year. They're a different Georgia. They're not the same talented juggernaut Georgia who's going to allow 7 or 10 points and score 50. That's not what they're doing this year. UAB covered that, no problem. I think they cover this spread if they're the underdog as well. I like UAB plus the points. Florida at Kentucky. Now we got Florida coming in this one against Kentucky. I like the under in this game. Kentucky flew high in the last game, beat up on them boys, and then Florida coming in this one, feeling all right about themselves. But Florida, if you look at their last game against this damn weak ass team, man, Charlotte, they only scored 22 points. Did not cover 28. They didn't even put up 28. They're in their points. You know what I'm saying? But they're coming off that Tennessee win where we took them. So they're on a 2-game winning streak. This Kentucky team beat up on Vanderbilt. Nobody. Pretty decided win since the fucking game kicked off. It was Kentucky's win. I think Kentucky should not be the favorite here. Florida is a better team at the moment. Just at this moment, I think Florida is way, way better on defense. Defensively, for sure, Florida is the better team. And I like defense to win games sometimes. And Kentucky hasn't really been tested at all. They've been having way lesser opponents all up until this point. I think Florida gives them a rude awakening, and this is a disrespectful line to Florida coming in here as underdogs. I like Florida to win that game outright on a money line upset. Next up, we got Penn State, Northwestern, Penn State on the money line, Penn State on the spread. Take it how you wanna. Lay the 40 with Penn State. Texas A&M versus Arkansas now, and Arkansas is a 7-point dog. Wow, projected to be. I think this is gonna be at a neutral site. Arkansas is not to be taken lightly, dog. I like Arkansas to cover that spread in a neutral site. Whereas anyone's game, Texas A&M knows how to score. Arkansas knows how to score. I like the over the total, and I like Arkansas to cover that spread. UL Lafayette at Minnesota. I got Lafayette all day. I hope that Lafayette is the underdog, because this will become a lock. If the Raging Cajuns are the underdog to Minnesota, that's a lock. I'm locking that up. Raging Cajuns on the money line. On the upset. Akron Zips at Buffalo. Akron did stick it out pretty way closer than I thought they would against Indiana. And I think they build off that at home. They're coming back home where they found that they could hang against an upper echelon team. And now they have a lesser opponent coming in, Buffalo Bulls, on the road. I think Akron gets the job done at home, but I think we see a high-scoring game. It may be a 70-point game at the end of this game, 40-30. or at least 37 of 29, 37 of 28. It's going to be one of those high-scoring games, low 60s. I like Akron in the over. EMU versus Central Michigan. Battle of the Michigans. I got Central Michigan in a blowout dominant fashion. Central Michigan is the big brother. I like Central Michigan to win by double digits. UVA at Boston College. I got Boston College in this one. Boston College is one of those home teams that I want to back after that Florida State game. UVA, we know they is pretty good on offense, but their defense is terrible, and that's what cost them the game. And all of their losses is their defensive problems. The defense on Virginia, you're not stopping the nosebleed with them. I like Virginia to score a little bit of points here as well. I think we get over a total. I hope they set this total pretty low, and I think we get well over the total. Any total in the 40s is getting well over that. I like the over in Boston College to win at home. Now we got Miami, Ohio, Kent State. I like Miami, Ohio to win big here. Even if it's 37 points, I'm laying 37 with Miami, Ohio. Next up, we got Arizona State, who just kept it close with these boys on USC. Just fought them boys hard. They just fought USC hard in Arizona State. I thought it was going to be a big win for USC. And Arizona State proved me wrong, man. Cal did just put up a fair share of points against Washington as well. But, they let Washington score like 60 points, though. Any game against California is going to be an over. I like Arizona State to score as well. I think both teams get in the 20s by halftime, or maybe by the third quarter. It's 25 to 20, 27 to 23, 21 to 24. You know what I'm saying? In the third quarter. So I think we get well over the total, and I think I like Cal a little bit more on offense. California got a pretty solid offense, especially at home. I like Cal and the over on that one. Next up, we got Arkansas State coming into this one with the Mr. Upset mustache on them. I did not back Arkansas State at all. I think Arkansas State was that bad. But UMass also coming to this one off a pretty upsetting loss, man, against University of New Mexico Lobos in overtime. But UMass is one of those teams that could let anybody in the back door. As we see, Arkansas State beat Stony Brook and Southern Mississippi. I was on Southern Mississippi in that one. And I see without Frank Gore for Southern Miss, we're just not going to back Southern Miss anymore until we see Frank Gore is back in the lineup. You cannot trust Southern Miss with a 10-foot pole. Against upper echelon teams, Arkansas State will fucking cough and choke. But against these UMasses and these lower tier teams, I think Arkansas State has a chance to score and fight. I think we get well over the total again. I think we see another over in this game with UMass, and I think Arkansas State is barking as an underdog. I like Arkansas State to pull off an upset and the over. Next up, we got Wagner at Rutgers. Rutgers is a different beast this year. I see Rutgers is pretty formidable. This is not last year's Rutgers. Rutgers is going to win at least 6 games this year. And I think there's another win right here for Rutgers. Rutgers is going to handle Wagner. Wagner did not look good. They just played a pretty fucking doormat-ass team. I can't even remember who they played. Wagner is not that good. They play in small bracket schools and divisions. They're tough conference opponents. And they're struggling with their conference, and their conference is bad. So do not trust Wagner to cover here. I like Rutgers in a dominant fashion. 20-point win for Rutgers here. Michigan laying 18 at Nebraska Cornhuskers. Man, for some reason, I'm thinking Nebraska's going to upset these boys. I just got that feeling in this game. When you just look at it, you just blindly look at it, I think Nebraska's going to cover that 18. I'm going to take the 18 points with Nebraska Cornhuskers. I do not like Nebraska. I don't. I'm not looking to back Nebraska at all. But I know this is college football. Sometimes it's just how shit is, man. I promise you. Like, man. Next up, we got University of Georgia. #1 at Auburn, laying 13. Auburn did pretty good last game. They still lost that game 10-27 at Texas A&M, but they did pretty good on defense. They held their own. I just don't think they're ready to hang with Georgia, man. I think Georgia wins this game by the spread, if not more. I think Georgia is a different animal. Georgia's a different tier of a team. Auburn struggled with the California Bears, so they're not gonna fare well against Georgia. Georgia is gonna win by that spread or more. I like Georgia to lay the number. Next up, we got Houston at Texas Tech. Now I'm going with Texas Tech in this one. We were on Houston last week against Sam Houston State, and I told everybody it was gonna be a blowout victory for Houston. Lay the number. Feel good win for Houston. Way better than Sam Houston State. Way better. But they're not better than Texas Tech. They're not. Texas Tech did lose to West Virginia, but West Virginia is not that bad this year either. And Texas Tech did also lose to Wyoming. First game of the year. OT loss. They did stick it out pretty tough as nails. Next game with Oregon. Beat a Tarleton State team, and then they just lost by 7 to fucking West Virginia. But Houston is not good this year at all, you guys. Do not believe Houston is good at all this year. Maybe in basketball, but not football. Texas Tech to lay the number. Old Dominion, Marshall. Now, with Marshall just pulling off that Virginia Tech win and Old Dominion winning against Texas A&M Commerce by a score of 10-9. You only won by 1 point to Texas A&M Commerce. I gotta go with Marshall Thunder, the herd, because I just gotta admit it, man. Old Dominion is one of those good sneaky teams. I do like to back Old Dominion in certain games, like Wake Forest. We were on Old Dominion. This University of Lafayette. Man, I was telling people that I like Lafayette, and Old Dominion proved me wrong. They did prove me wrong. Old Dominion did prove me wrong in that one, and then I was on them against Wake Forest, and then they proved me right. And they just absolutely took a shit on themselves here against Texas A&M Commerce. You're not supposed to be even. They were laying 27, and they put up 10 points. You know what I'm saying? And they allowed the other team to score 9. I think Marshall gets another feel-good win home here at home. Marshall to win this one, feeling good. 10-point win, 7-point win, somewhere around there for Marshall. NIU at Toledo. I got Toledo to lay the number. I know it's going to be a double-digit spread here. I got Toledo to win by at least 10 points here. Toledo in the 10-point win. Bowling Green, Georgia Tech. I got Georgia Tech to win by 30 here. Georgia Tech's going to light them boys up from start to finish. Georgia Tech all day. I was on Georgia Tech last week. First gut win with Georgia Tech against Wake Forest, and that's exactly what happened from start to finish. Next game, we got Kansas at Texas. Now, this is going to be one of those controversial picks, you guys. Kansas did prove us wrong against BYU. They did prove to be the formidable opponent that we all know and love in Kansas sports. I think we get a cover here by Kansas. I think Texas ends up winning this game, but I think Kansas keeps it within 14. And that's as period as point blank as that could possibly be. Ball State at Western Michigan. I'm going to side with Western Michigan. I hope that Ball State is the favorite here. You got the name, better name, But Western Michigan can put up points, especially at home. They're not even a good team, honestly. Western Michigan, they're not going to put up a lot of points, but they could put up at least 18 first half, maybe 17 first half on a good day. And Ball State is just looking dreadful. They're looking like they're scoring. They're struggling to even get field goals. I wouldn't even touch Ball State with a 10-foot pole. But we're gonna see where this line opens at. If Western Michigan is the favorite, I might think about taking Ball State. But I don't like how Ball State's looking at all. It's too dormant of offense. I like Western Michigan in this one money line. Next up, we got Navy at the South Florida Bulls. I like South Florida in this one. South Florida proved it to me. You had to prove it to me in that fashion as well. They did exactly that against Rice. I was on Rice. I thought Rice was a lock, and I still do think Rice was a lock. South Florida just showed up, and they showed out, dominated them boys. It was a decisive win for South Florida. It was way closer than the final score indicates, but Florida did have that game from start to finish. Navy is not anybody I'm looking to back here. Navy is pretty dormant. Look at when they face a conference, a tougher opponent. They put up 3 points. A Memphis team is a pretty good opponent. They put up 24. But they look at Wagner. Terrible. Put up 0 against Navy. And Navy only mustered 24. I'm not looking to back Navy against an explosive team in South Florida. I like what I've seen from South Florida. And I like Maryland in this matchup as well against Indiana. Maryland, we were on Maryland last week and they fared us well. Tua's little brother is nice. Tulia Tagovailoa is the real deal. Indiana almost choked against Akron as like a 17-point favorite, I believe. Yeah, Indiana scared me last week, and I don't think they're going to fare well against Maryland at home. Maryland in a dominant fashion, double-digit win for Maryland. Baylor at UCF. I like UCF too they put up a good fight against Kansas State. They instantly lost by only 13, but they were in the game for the whole damn near the whole 3 quarters. First 3 quarters, they were in that game. Beat up on the Villanova team. They scared me against this Boise State team. And yeah, they hung with them boys in Kansas State. I did like the overall day on Kansas State and the UCF. I thought it was way too low of a total, and it fared well. Baylor is coming in this one off of a Texas loss. They lost 6 to 38. Put up only 6 points, and they also have that upset loss to Texas State. I think UCF scores here. I think Baylor also scores here after getting their butts kicked last week against a top 5 team in the country. Baylor's going to score here against a defense in UCF who's not stopping anybody from scoring. UCF, it will allow points, and UCF will put up points. I like the over in this one, and I like UCF a little bit more at home. Maryland on the money line. Illinois versus Purdue. Man, Purdue is a good team, but I like Illinois to get a different. Illinois to get the upset. They didn't stop Wisconsin by any stretch of the imagination, and I just don't think if you're not beating anybody of that sort, like a Wisconsin, who's got Tanner Mordecai, he's terrible this year. I know Illinois looked bad. Almost lost to Toledo game 1. They could have been 0-3 in their first 3 if they would have lost that. You know what I'm saying? And they only beat FAU by 6. I get it. I understand. But against Purdue, though, I just see a hard-fought victory for Illinois. I'm just going to side with Illinois on the money line. Mizzou Coming into this one at Vanderbilt, I got Mizzou on the money line and on the spread. Vanderbilt is that bad. Mizzou is a different caliber team, different talent level, different recruit level. Mizzou is way different on offense and defense. Mizzou for a double-digit win. Next up, we got the Lobos coming in this one off a upset, man. OT. But against a Wyoming team who handled business against App State by 3. I like Wyoming too, especially when they get their quarterback Peasley back going. They're not the best team, but they're not bad as well. Wyoming do have the the outright win against Texas Tech. And then New Mexico just only beat UMass, you know what I'm saying? And Tennessee Tech. Pretty much nobody, you know what I'm saying? They did lose to New Mexico State, like we said. And I just think Wyoming is better in all facets of the game than New Mexico. Yes, that was a good win for them last week, but Wyoming is not UMass. Wyoming will win this game. Hawaii in the UNLV. I got to go with UNLV. UNLV is on a heater right now. UNLV is on a heater right now after beating Vanderbilt. I'm going to keep siding with UNLV. Hawaii is that bad. Hawaii is that bad. Hawaii is that bad. They are coming off of a win against our New Mexico State team. And a late comeback, man. Late comeback for Hawaii. All in the second half. They were dead in the water. And then they all just blow it at the fucking last minute. Hawaii is not pretty much anybody I'm looking to back any week. I'll take UNLV all day long. Boise State at Memphis. I like Boise State in this one. Much more disciplined team. Memphis is still looking to be polishing up their offense and polishing up their defense. Boise State has more things figured out, less question marks. Boise State is the better offense. I like Boise State to handle these Memphis boys. And I think Boise State handles them by double digits. In a pretty much a surprising game, Boise State gets a feel-good win. I like LSU as well against Ole Miss. LSU is a real team. I like the over in this game. I also like Ole Miss and Josh Dart and them boys. I was on Ole Miss last week, and they fared well in the first 2 quarters, but after that they just let them boys get the victory in that end. But I like Ole Miss. I'm still an Ole Miss fan. Josh Dart is real. I do believe in Josh Dart. That dude is real. I like the over. Both teams will score in the 30s. I think both teams scored 30 here. Shootout. Might go to overtime. LSU is going to put up 30. Ole Miss might put up 26, 24, 25, 28, 34, 32. Anywhere. I like the over in Ole Miss to help us get over this total and an LSU win. Oregon, Stanford. Oregon to lay 40. I'll lay 40 with Oregon. Stanford is not in their jurisdiction at all. I'll lay 40 with Oregon. Coastal Carolina now coming into this one against Georgia Southern. And I told people about Georgia Southern. They're not to be slept on and not to be taken lightly. Especially against a beatable team in Coastal Carolina who just let Georgia State fuck them over. I like Georgia to keep showing up these Coastal Carolina boys. Georgia State just took their ass behind the shed. And I think Georgia Southern takes their ass behind the shed as well. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You guys know I do not like ECU. I'm not a believer in East Carolina. I'm not a believer in East Carolina whatsoever. But after Rice showed me what the fuck their true colors are, I was a Rice believer. I'm switching sides here in a controversial pick. I like East Carolina to win this one on the money line. Rice is in the doghouse right now. I'm going to be circling this game on my fucking calendar and see what the fuck Rice has to offer. I do like Rice to keep it close in this one, though. I do know Rice can put up points. I'd like the over in this game. I like the over, and I like ECU to eke out a victory. Utah Tech versus Colorado State. I got Colorado State money line easily. Troy versus Georgia State. Troy is a pretty good, formidable opponent for Georgia State. Now, this is a rivalry game. I think it gets way chippy. I'm expecting a high total. Soon as we get that high total, I'm going to probably stab the under. I think this is one of those rivalry games that's going to be chippy. It's going to be very physical. I think we get under the total of this game on Georgia State. But I like Georgia State at home to keep rolling. Troy is going to fight hard to get this W, but I like Georgia State. It's a tad bit more on offense. Georgia State is fucking rolling right now. Rolling. I think Georgia State keeps it rolling. Iowa State at Oklahoma. I'm not an Iowa State fan. I'm honestly sorry. I cannot back them. Oklahoma to win that one. Money line. I'll lay double digits for Oklahoma. Texas State at Southern Mississippi, I'm sorry. Texas State at Southern Mississippi, I got Texas State. Texas State almost laid an egg against Nevada. They were down 17-0, and they came all the way back and won by damn near double digits, I believe. Yeah, they won by 11 after being down 17-0 in the first half. Southern Mississippi, though, just allowed one of the worst teams in Arkansas State to beat them, and they allowed 44 points. I think that's more upsetting than Texas State. I'd like Texas State in the money line. I wouldn't lay any points with Texas State, but I like Texas State in the money line, and I also like the over. Both teams don't have any defense at all, but they're going to score. You know what I'm saying? Both teams are going to score the ball. No defense is going to be played here. I like the over in Texas State to win that outright. Abilene Christian, North Texas. I like the over here as well. North Texas, any game North Texas is in, I'm looking for the over. And it's crazy because their basketball team is the completely opposite. Their basketball team leads on their defense in North Texas, and their football is the total opposite. They have no defense. North Texas is letting anybody score. I think Abilene Christian could put up 20 here, or at least 14. And North Texas does have a little bit better of an offense. I think North Texas gets a feel-good victory here, maybe 35-26, 35-24. You know, something like that. I think we get a good 50, high 50s total minimum here. I like the over and North Texas to win. Notre Dame coming in 7-point favorites against them Duke boys. I like Duke against Notre Dame in this one. Notre Dame did stick it up against Ohio State. I told people Notre Dame was not going to allow them boys to just throw streak routes and do all of that fancy shit. But they did close Notre Dame out in that fucking last quarter, right in time for the game to end. Gutsy call. It was a great call to call that play and get it well off in the end zone. But Notre Dame is no damn joke. Notre Dame is ranked number 9 in the country for a reason. Duke is number 18. I think Notre Dame is a damn good opponent, but I think Duke has a different fight to them this year. They have a little bit of fight in them this year as a dog. I'm going to side with Duke on plus the points, put in my back pocket. Next up, we got Charlotte at SMU. I'll side with SMU all day long. SMU is a far better team than Charlotte. Michigan State at Iowa. I think this is the game where Michigan State wakes up. I think this is the game Michigan State wakes up just off clear instincts, no spread. I think this is the game Michigan State wakes up. I hope Michigan State is the underdog here again. A overrated Iowa team, just like Illinois this year. Iowa's having a down year. Iowa is just having a down year. Same could be said about Michigan State, but I think the talent level on Michigan State is just super slimly better. I like Michigan State to get the upset in that one. South Carolina, Tennessee. Tennessee is a way better team at home than they are on the road, and that's exactly where Tennessee is at. I like South Carolina as well, but in these type of games like this, South Carolina will put up a couple points here and there. Spencer Rattler could find the end zone, put up a little 14, maybe 17 at the end of the day. I see like 17 points scored for this South Carolina team, maybe even 20 altogether. But I think Tennessee gets another victory here. Tennessee is a pretty damn good team at home. I'm not a fan of Joe Milton. I don't think he wins against an upper echelon team, but in a beatable South Carolina team, I think Tennessee gets a money line win. I don't think they cover that spread though. I think South Carolina keeps it between 2 touchdowns for sure. I think South Carolina could hang with them, 2 touchdowns with them, but it'll be right around the number. I like Tennessee to get that victory outright though. Now we got TCU at West Virginia. Now this is a damn good game right here. I like West Virginia, and they showed formidableness in 2 weeks in a row. They clamped the fuck out of Pittsburgh, clamped them boys the fuck up, seatbelt checked them boys. Pittsburgh looked like a damn high school against West Virginia, and then they come and follow that up with an even better impressive showing against who was that, Texas Tech. Come and show that up against, you know what I'm saying, two good ass schools in Texas Tech and Pittsburgh, and you treat them boys like little kids. TCU is a good team. I do think they are a little bit overrated this year after everybody's going off of last year. But I think West Virginia has a little bit of fight in them. I hope West Virginia is a double-digit dog here, and I'll take West Virginia plus any points I can get. West Virginia on the point spread. San Diego State versus Air Force. Now I told people last week I thought San Diego State was gonna get the outright upset. They lost by 3, I believe. It was a very close game in Boise State. I do think San Diego State's gonna get better as the weeks keep progressing. Air Force did prove us well as well. I was on Air Force when they took on those boys in San Jose State. But San Jose State did have them on their heels in the first quarter. But after that first half, Air Force ran away with it. We knew it was going to be an over, and the Air Force victory called it just like it came in. But San Diego State is one of those teams you cannot just underestimate. This is one of those games where I'm going to take the points with the underdog. Whoever's the underdog, I'm just going to take the points because both teams, this is a real 50-50 game. Either team could win it. I do like the over. Both teams are going to give up points. San Diego State could finally flourish a little bit more against an inferior opponent. And I think Air Force also chips in and scores as well. Next up, we got Pittsburgh, sorry ass, against Virginia Tech, sorry ass. Virginia Tech just lost to Marshall. Times are changing, you guys. Like, really, times are changing, boy. Virginia Tech lost to Marshall. That was real. And Pittsburgh is very bad. I do not like the quarterback at all on Pittsburgh this year. He's looking like he can't even decide where he wants to go with the ball. He never looks poised. He never looks calm. He always looks like he's panicking. Pittsburgh, I do not like Pittsburgh, but they're damn sure is better than Marshall. And you know what I'm saying? And if they can beat Virginia Tech, if Marshall could beat Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh can as well. Virginia Tech is not beating anybody but Old Dominion. And Pittsburgh is a fucking different opponent than Old Dominion and Marshall. So fuck that, man. Pittsburgh on the money line, double-digit win for Pittsburgh, feel-good win for Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh blows these boys out the doors. Feel-good win for Pittsburgh. Now we got UNL Monroe versus App State. I got App State all day. App State in the over. App State will allow points every game. Every game. App State's going to allow points. I like App State to win this one on the money line and the over. Now we got the last 3 games, you guys. Damn. Tough draw for Arizona. Tough draw for Mississippi State. And tough draw for Nevada. I like the favorites in all the 3 last games. Washington, Alabama, and Fresno State to close out the night. All in a big win. I do think Arizona puts up a good amount of points. I like the over in this Arizona-Washington game. I think the Arizona's going to put up at least 15, maybe 14, maybe 12, maybe 11. Y'all know me with my numbers. I'll be just instantly calling them out. But I think we get well over the total, man. Washington in a dominant win, but I think Arizona chips in for the over. I like Alabama to close these Mississippi State boys out. I was looking for Mississippi State to keep it close last week, and exactly what they did. I don't think they can hang with Alabama, just like I thought they couldn't hang with Arizona, and Arizona took them to overtime. Mississippi State's not on Alabama level. Nevada and Fresno. Fresno is one of those teams that's good as fuck, but they don't have a big name. They're a little bit less popular, but they are damn fucking good. They are damn good. And I think in a West Coast battle like this, California versus Nevada, Nevada's on their side of the coast. They're kind of comfortable going to California. That's their second home. I think this is like a damn near a second home game for the Nevada Wolfpack. So I think both teams score a lot. I'd like the over as well in the nighttime games. Over and Fresno State to win. That's the way too early picks for NCAA football, week 5. Early picks and early locks. And we're going to get out of here. We're going to come back with a real official video for the week 5. But this is just my way too early edition. Stay tuned, subscribe, leave me your early predictions as well. Leave me your 3 locks of the video. What are your locks for the week? Let me know, man. It's your boy, and you're on your own way. And we out of here. Let's cook up the best pull-up. We're going to cook up the best parlay on my next video. The best parlay, I'm going to leave it to 5 teams. 5 teams. I'm going to give y'all 5 locks. And we're going to put down $50 on it. And then we're going to see what we do next week. This your boy Yo checking out. Coming into the next video for y'all. Stay tuned. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Leave a like. And leave me your best picks in the comments. Let's go. Let's go.